Hey everybody, Ray with Team Lavender, and I'm here with.
Boulanger.
And what did you do?
This past weekend, I got first at the Portland, Maine Regional.
Awesome. And as I understand, you were playing Spyral,
Yes.
and it's for the next list, right?
It,
This upcoming list.
Nothing changes. Nothing got touched on the list, so works for that list.
All right,
And
let's
this list.
let's see it.
Okay, so we're gonna start off with hand traps. So 3 Ash, of course, generic good hand trap. 3 Veiler. People have been playing this over Ogre because of the Goki deck. They can stack their chains to avoid Ogre. However, it is a little worse against Magicians, but when I talk about my matchups later, it actually somehow ended up working out. But that's it for hand traps. For the Spyral monsters, got 3 Super Agent, 3 Tough, the Master Plan, Sleeper, Quick Fix, Drone, and I did play Last Resort. He was supposed to be a pseudospace, but couldn't find one because the man behind the camera had it at his house, and no one at the event had one or really knew what it was. So he was my last resort, no pun intended. 2 Big Red, that was it for the gears. Upstart, 1 for 1, Rhoda, Foolish, Monster Reborn. Soul Charge, this is a little weird because I haven't gotten to it yet, but this is going second Spyral. Like, I chose not to go first unless I absolutely had to. But kind of just worked as like a pseudo reborn, which it sucked a little because I didn't have my battle phase, but Tough and Agent just clear the board anyway, so it kind of worked out. Not sure if I'd change that, but then 3 Terraforming and the 1 Spiral Resort. I played no other field spells because it was supposed to be pseudo space, and I did not want to play Ravine because, especially going second, unless I'm trying to Black Rose pass, like, I feel like Ancient Fairy and Ravine just die to hand traps or disruption or anything. So then of course 3 Foolish Burial Goods, the 1 Assault, and 2 Rescue. Then for the rest of the traps, I had 2 Impermanents. I played 3, but I only have 2. And of course, this is going second Spyral, so 3 evenly matched, which I banished a ton of cards with it. Didn't win every match I activated it, but won almost all of them. So that's it for the main. It's 40 cards. Then the side, I only activated this once. It was 3 Call by the Grave. I only activated it against Invoked because it was Mech Knight Invoke, so I knew I was going to be going first, so I was like, why not put this in if I get hand trapped, and I Call by the Grave to Nash. 3 Twin Twisters. Somehow only activated it once against Altergeist, and it just won me the game. I just didn't draw it, I guess, every time I set it in. Red Reboot. This was the best side card all day. I drew it a ton. Amazing against Altergeist. I put it in against True Draco because he put in Red Reboot game 2 for my evenly matches, and I ended up evenly matching, getting Solemn Judgmented, and Red Rebooting it, and that won me the 3rd game. I had only put 1 Red Reboot into. I don't know why I did it, but it won me the match, so whatever. 3D Barrier for Pendulum. I wanted something for Pendulum if I was going first, because I'm playing Knightmare Mermaid, but I'm not playing Iblis, so I don't have, like, I guess, the full combo, so I wanted something to, even if I didn't open the combo with Brick going first, I wanted something to stop them and give me another turn. It was amazing. I activated it like 3 times. 2 Mind Control, I only drew it and activated it once, and I stole an Electromite and made a Firewall with it, which in the game state I was in was just game, because whatever he did next turn, I was just going to bounce it back to hand. And 1 Gamma Seal, I signed him in against True Draco and Magician and never drew him, so.
Awesome. So extra deck.
Yep. 2 Double Helix. Never wanted the 3rd, never was really in a game state where I could even get to the 3rd. If anything, I was just big redding, rescuing, or reborn soul charging, like the same one, the first one I made. Link Karibo, Underclock, Decode just for generic links. Mermaid in case I got an Iblis summoned on me. No deck I played against did any sort of Nightmare combo. Goblin, Cerberus, Phoenix. I use both Cerberus and Phoenix to rip apart boards also. Unicorn I summon the most. I sometimes shuffle back opponents' cards too. When I was OTKing, usually just shuffle back a Purple Poison or any monster that just happened to be sitting around. Trigate, in case I did have to end up going first, and he isn't bad going second if you can know you like clear the board, know you have no disruption, and then still say a soul charge and get back into it. I banished the Element Saber guy who kind of has like a walking floodgate with this because he didn't have the targeting immunity. He only had the destruction immunity. Ningarisu, I didn't make him once. Didn't come up. Firewall, I made him the one time I mentioned. Borload, I didn't make at all. I never had to. I was never against a monster where I needed to, or like that I couldn't just kill, and no one made Borload on me. And then Princess Sprite, which I made a couple times. I don't remember really drawing anything crazy off of it, but I did summon it. So yeah, that's it for the deck.
And talk about your matches.
Yeah, so it was only 7 rounds. It was only 63 people. Portland's a huge small. So round 1 I played against Mech Knight Invoked, which was awkward because I'm playing going second Spyral, so we both wanted to go second. So when I won the die roll and said you can go second, I think he kind of thought that I knew what he was playing already and was upset. But yeah, that deck has a much worse going first play, I guess, than this deck. And he kind of bricked game 1 and game 2. Game 2, he like sided as it so he could go first, I guess, and I ashed his Meltdown, and he didn't have Alistair or Invocation. I also had Impermanence in hand just in case he had the Alistair, but if he had all 3, I was in trouble. But yeah, so I won that. Playing against Element Saber for the first time, I had no idea what they did. Like I said, he summoned the Floodgate guy and the Book of Moon guy, and I just activated a Resort, which just shut off the Book of Moon guy, and then I did my whole play and banished the Floodgate guy with Trigate and won from there. Round 3 was True Draco. That match was wild because all 3 games I opened evenly matched and Ash. Game 1, I think I just ashed the wrong thing. I should have saved it for the Majesty Maiden, and then games 2 and 3. I did exactly that. I saved it for the Majesty Maiden when I evenly matched. And then we, of course, had that interaction with Red Reboot and Solemn Judgment. Then I played against Altergeist. Extremely close match. Game 1, I evenly for 3, and he had 1 back row, and I normal tough, and it was a strike, and my hand was completely dead after that point. So we just had like a very long back and forth where I just kept drawing nothing. And I just kept stopping whatever he was doing, but he ended up winning that, and then I brought it back the next 2 games. Round 5, I played against Magician. I Veilered him game 1, and his hand was so subpar that he like couldn't go off, and then on my turn I just ripped apart his board and won. Game 2, at the very end, he was playing FTK, I should add, which I only found out when I needed to call Tough Right to win. And I called Monster, and it flipped over Instant Fusion, and I lost, but that also told me that I needed to go first game 3 because he was playing the FTK. And yeah, I did not open well game 3. I opened like Barrier, Impermanence, and I couldn't do any sort of play, but Barrier and Impermanence stalled enough for me to get to Resort or something, and I brought it all the way back. Then I played Magician again. It was not FTK. He was actually playing the continuous spell, the Pendulum Graph. Nothing too interesting about that match. Just kind of tore apart his board. Stopped him from really getting the whole Vortex thing. And last round was Altergeist, and game 1 he went first, set 3. I got double struck, like Tough got struck twice, and I still was able, because I had like revival spells, I just played all the way through it and did my whole play and OTK'd him. And then game 2, he set 4. I did Terraforming, he Imperial Ordered, I Red Rebooted, and he couldn't stop it, and then I just OTK'd him, and that was the regional.
Awesome. So, anything about the deck you changed for the next format, or is it pretty much standard right now?
For next format,
anything that didn't work, or
yeah, I would say I kind of missed Ogre against Pendulum. Somehow Veiler like still got me there, but we're not going to really worry about that next format. I think the deck might still be around, like a different version, so I'm not sure. But
especially with the matchup against Brandish.
Right. Yeah. So I don't think Veiler is very good against Brandish unless I'm missing something. I mean, I guess you could do it to the blue link, but But yeah, so probably just adjust the deck for Brandish. Probably definitely a third impermanence because it's just multi-use. Side would probably have to be adjusted, but just for the decks that are around now that will probably still be around next format, like Goki's, I think Veiler's good. And yeah, definitely, I'd probably take a last resort for Pseudospace because there's only one situation I was in all day where I was glad I had last resort instead of Pseudospace because it was a Spyral monster and that was it. Like, there's nothing else great about it. So
Awesome. And shoutouts.
Shoutouts to Team Lavender, as always. Shoutouts to Josh for convincing me Thursday night to play going second Spyral, that was a better version. And shoutouts to Ray for keeping Pseudospace away from me. And that's about it.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right.
See you.
Guys.